I prefer the coffee.
What up, though? It's your boy Coffee back with another one, and right here is Joe Budden snapping on Emanny over the ERICA Dickerson situation. Well, I know a couple months back, Emanny, requested to have Erica Dickerson up on the Joe Budden podcast. Joe allowed it. They was up there vibing, but then things got awkward where I guess Joe said some off the wall stuff. Well, some stuff that I don't think you're supposed to say to females at a workplace environment, but that's just my opinion. But at the end of the day, she took it into her own hands and was like, nah, I can't let that slide. I gotta say something. I gotta step up for myself. And I got a clip of that and also a clip of Joe expressing himself like, yo, let the fire go out, man. Let this be another, something that gets swept under the rug. But y'all guys, let me know y'all thoughts, comment, like, subscribe, enjoy.
This is before we start recording. And they line up on the skyline. And they were like, Erica, come over here and take a picture. And so I went over there and I didn't really know where to get in between any of them. They were all kind of lined up. And I was like, I was just like, okay, I guess I'll just squeeze in here. And then out of nowhere, Joe says, you better watch out. You'll get fucked. And I said, oh, okay. Well, I was so caught off guard. I just said, Joe, stop. Like, don't do that. Come on. And he was just like, and everyone around just like didn't say anything. No one said shit. It was just like, this happens all the time and this is normal and no one's going to say anything.
I didn't hear this. I was out of earshot, so I was totally oblivious, even going into the episode that was said.
Yeah. And so it really shook me for a second just because there was like this embarrassment that he said it in front of all these people. There was like this, like, even this moment of like, did I do something here that like constituted you thinking that you could say something like this to me? And even like, I really had to unpack my shame around it too, even more, because after this, I went back and looked in our text messages with him to make sure that I didn't like in some way insinuate that I wanted to fuck him in any way or that I was interested in him in any way that like not and that's crazy because even if I did, that's not how you talk to a woman.
Is because, bitch, you up here making niggas uncomfortable. You are up here behaving and maneuvering around in a manner around men in relationships that are making us uncomfortable. If you look at the fucking pictures, everybody's hands is in their pockets. Enough. Enough with
Get your
this.
hands out my pockets.
Sometimes bitches is just weirdos.
Okay.
Sometimes it's
So Joe,
really
let me ask you a
just
question.
that simple, yo.
That's the point I
No,
was trying to
there's
get to.
nothing you could
No, no, no,
do
no, no,
or
no, no, no.
say or that need to be said to teach me, the nigga that's already lost millions behind these types of things, how to maneuver when women come around. Please. It's like
Joe,
weird
what about
compounding
anything I said?
weird.
What what did anything that I say have anything to do with you? I'm
I'm
speaking
talking
about what
about
I
all of
felt.
this weight that you putting on you over
I'm
some like dogs. You know how many times you niggas hit me about, hey, can somebody come up there? And you know how many times I say no? Nobody is even allowed on the premises unless they have a rapport.
well 100%. I know that.
This is
But that
not
still
as
has nothing to do with what
simple
I'm saying
as,
about
hey,
me.
you seen somebody that you thought we could have a fly talk with, and now we're doing a pod. That's not how this business is ran. So even listening to this is like, no, they was there for a reason, and they revealed themselves.
They
Peace
violated
and
from what
love,
it
peace
sounds
and
like.
love to all.
Cool. That still has nothing to do. I didn't know that. So before any of that, I didn't know that. So in my brain, I'm thinking I'm putting together something that you have not even engaged in before. I didn't know you sat on a pod before. I didn't know that. So everything you saying to me right now, it makes all the sense in the world. But I still got the feeling that I have. And yeah, I'm not taking onus on some shit happening, but I am taking onus on my intentions for doing it. That's it. But you ain't wrong about what you're saying. But yeah, nigga, I still feel how I feel about how it happened.
Oh,
So you're right. And if we're going to not talk about it no more, then we just cannot talk
I
about it. And
mean,
I don't have
I
a
ain't
problem with
said a
having a further
word. I
conversation.
only came up here because it's been however many days of think pieces.
Literally
It's
what I
been
said.
when
mad
will it end?
spaces about nothing. And You know, the other day I wanted to come up here when they was having whatever talk they was having to say that sometimes when these things happen, it's because there is a value in it happening. I know y'all are taping this, so I'm not going to say very much up here. But sometimes there's just other reasons and agendas for things happening. It's not men walking around so aloof that and so horny that they don't know when and when not to make a joke. Like
I'm sure.
like enough.
So the only point I was trying to get to before that shit with Imani and Joe was that like there is a consistency value that is being completely lost here. If you're going to start off by saying that they had some type of rapport or whatever to start with, and then this whole thing happening, and then all the actions that's been leading up afterwards with all the Patreon and Instagram and all the shit that she's done to like try to attract attention since this shit, it is very hard for somebody from the audience to be able to decipher what is actually real in this case and what isn't. And from all that, just public fodder is just going to just draw more attention back to whatever that she is trying to, promote or push out. So it's just kind of nonsense at this point, honestly.
I think, unfortunately, Joe, it happened during a slow news week. And I think you were talking about it on the pause. Like, there ain't much going on. So we talked about at the beginning of the space.
No,
We
it
didn't talk
didn't
about the
happen
same
during
shit.
no, it didn't happen during a slow news week. The week couldn't have
Yeah,
been any busier with news.
very
I
busy.
think you're ignoring the fact that sometimes
The
things
type of
get
news it
said
was.
and the community is strong enough to make it be news and become news. The news week was jam packed. This thing broke later than it should because it was 50, it was Stevie J, it was lit. But enough. I'm done. I'm I'm going to fucking the white girls one. I'm going back to
Joe,
the fucking white girl magic.
White
do
girl
you think
magic.
that the do you think that the JBP Spaces keeps highlighting your stories and making it worse?
No comment.
Yeah, but I just want to make it clear that the conversation was totally in support of you guys. That's how it started. We just kind of went down like a little rabbit hole of, time frames of when a person, announces that they felt uncomfortable.
I think it's the
So,
fact that
you
it's
A
three
know,
rabbit
days
hole
later.
is
I think that's
crazy.
that's kind of what I came in here saying, right? It's like, all right, y'all, it's been days. Was the comment that crazy? And y'all were like, the tunes changed. I'm not gonna expose nobody, but the tunes changed up now that Joe's in the room. Motherfuckers was equating that shit to
Ooh,
assault, all types of shit.
well, the person that was saying it is no longer even on the panel. So
No,
ooh.
I am
she's not
I
even
am still here on the
speaking.
panel, but I think
Again,
Oh,
that's
you're
wasn't
also
gonna call
too
nobody
oh,
out.
the conversation was a lot more than this. We've talked about a whole lot today, but we did get hung up back on this because of the scope of conversation. Because we've talked about Joe specifically. We've talked about the relationship between men and women and what flirting and flirting isn't. And what we talk about in our spaces. You obviously know, Jameson, what we get into in the spaces later on. So it's gone a lot more places, but it has kind of centered on what's been going on over there. There's a greater
Yeah, but
conversation
that's
for
why
that.
this is a crock of shit. And that's why I can't keep listening to the fucking think pieces. Because it's really just as simple as someone conveniently losing sight of what is or isn't entertainment. Nobody's saying that people can't be uncomfortable. We just talking about the timing of which you were uncomfortable and the manner in which you behaved leading up to being uncomfortable.
damn,
That's what we
Jamil.
just talking about. Like, so you can know somebody. On when I did their podcast, I was uncomfortable the whole time, but I'm a pro, so I was gearing the conversation away from the places that were making me uncomfortable. There was things off mic, on mic, but I think that this is just entertainment, so I can go. Like, I'm
Slay.
not saying that this is your character. So I can't assume that everybody knows all of the things that would make me uncomfortable. So I'm gonna go.
Do you now
But
judge
I
this
think
action as that being part of her character, or do you just charge
I'm
it to the
not.
game?
It's not my place to judge, and I'm not here to do interviews about it. I'm only up here to say just enough with the think pieces. Just enough with the think pieces.
Oh God. Yeah.
What you got,
Wrap it
Spice?
the fuck up.
Yeah,
I don't
man.
know.
They just
Honestly,
chasing
like
clout. It's not that
this
serious.
is
We can move
Yeah,
exhausting.
on.
So yeah.
cause
Who's that? Coffee?